Are you looking for an area in North Central Florida that is still affordable but isn't in the middle of nowhere? Well, hi, I'm Gabby, and I help families just like yours find the right spot here in Florida to call home. And today, I'm going to be taking you to Citrus Springs, and in this tour, I'll be discussing what's coming here, the pros and cons. I'm going to be showing you some of my local favorite places and showing you some model homes that are built in this specific neighborhood. I hope you enjoyed this tour, so let's dive in. All right, so this house is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a little over 1,700 square feet, and it's listed for $305,000. Now, I know it's a little bit more on the expensive end, but this does come with a lot of upgrades that a lot of homes typically do not have. So let's go check out some of those upgrades. Now, the one upgrade that I noticed was that it does have a fan, and so unlike some of the homes that I do show, they don't have fans in the bedrooms, but they do have that. They also have this lighting up here. I will say there's definitely more cabinetry, and they already have your backsplash done for you, so that's something you wouldn't have to pay for. I will say it does have a lot of storage, which I really appreciate. If you're somebody like me that likes to cook, this is halfway decently big, and at least it has a pantry. And if that's not big enough, they do provide another closet here in the laundry room that has 1, 2, 3, 4 racks. So you could use that as well. Let's go into the master bedroom. This does have a fan, like I mentioned. And then some of the upgrades in here is that it does have linen closet, which is really nice. Also comes with upgraded hardware with those black accents. The shower is really phenomenal. They put in nice stone texture, and it is tiled all the way up. Plus it has a window, which is really nice. Already comes with a waterfall shower head. I will say one of the negatives is they did not put 2 sinks in here. They did put a decent sized mirror and some really nice decorative lighting. The bathroom is there, and then the closet space is not too terrible. This is probably something that could be a little bit bigger, but overall, I truly do like this layout. Let's go over to the guest bedroom. So it is a split plan, so you don't have to worry about having your children on top of you. So this is the guest bathroom. Has the nice quartz countertops, upgrades, upgraded mirrors. I like that they did put the stand in for your shampoo or whatever. A lot of these builders don't put any of that kind of stuff in. It also comes with an upgraded shower head too. Something I like about this guest bedroom is it does have the fan, like I had mentioned, but also they did try to make these closets a little bit on the bigger side, but also they added some decoration to them, so they're just not so plain. Another thing is, again, storage. They put another linen closet right here. This house might be a really solid option for you. It also has a decorative outside texture and color. This house just has a lot of character compared to some of the other models that I see specifically here in Citrus Springs. Let's continue with our tour. Citrus Springs has an interesting history because it's actually one of Florida's planned communities. It was developed in the late 1960s and 1970s by the Mackle brothers. They are better known as the Deltona Corporation today. They're the same company that shaped other Florida areas like Deltona, Marion Oaks, and several other neighborhoods in South Florida. The original vision was simple: create an affordable suburban-like community where families could buy a piece of Florida land at a reasonable price. That's why you'll notice the wide roads, open spaces for growth, and neighborhood parks built in
into the design. One of the highlights here is the Withlacoochee State Trail, which runs right through Citrus Springs. It's similar to how the Florida Greenway connects into Marion Oaks. They also have a golf course that is in this community. These areas were designed with active families and outdoor living in mind. Citrus Springs is deed restricted, which means there are certain standards to keep the neighborhood well maintained, and it also has a community center that brings people together. Now for location, Citrus Springs sits right on the border of Citrus County and Marion County. It is a quick drive to Denellen, where you'll find everyday shopping like Publix, Aldi, and Lowe's, and Lake Canto, only 15 minutes away. They've just finished adding a Target, Texas Roadhouse, Starbucks, and a Hobby Lobby, with even more coming soon, including a Planet Fitness. You're also about 25 minutes from Ocala, which means easy access to hospitals, group job opportunities, bigger shopping centers, and so much more. To the west, you've got the Gulf Coast with Crystal River, Homosassa Springs, some popular spots for boating, fishing, and of course swimming with manatees. So while Citrus Springs has that quiet, tucked away feel, you're not in the middle of nowhere. You can still live affordably and stay connected to schools, cities, and plenty of outdoor recreation.
If you're considering Citrus Springs or another city in Citrus County, I'm more than happy to help you make the move, answer those questions. I myself and my team service all of Florida, and as a native, there's not much of this great state that I don't know about. So feel free to ask your questions or add me on Facebook. Let's continue with our tour. All right, so this house is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, a little over 1,600 square feet, and it is listed for $289. So again, a little bit more affordable, doesn't quite have as many upgrades as the last house, but it does have a lot of interesting features. So let's go talk about them. Right off the bat, you notice these lights here over the island, also a lot of black features. So if you're somebody who likes black features, this might be the house for you. Let's look at the inside of these cabinets. I like to show you guys what they look like, because a lot of people care how big they are. I would say these cabinets are pretty large in comparison to some of the other ones, but a little bit more on the narrow side. Now it does have a pantry. It's not super big. I would say this house does not have quite as much storage as the last one. So if you're looking for storage, this might not be the one. Something else that I thought was really nice about this specific house is the location. You're really close to the Withlacoochee State Trail, and so you could literally ride your bike there if that's what you wanted to do with the location of this. So it does have those black accents, and it does have like some nice lights that I like too, upgraded shower heads. Now let's go to the master. I will say the one thing I really like about this property is the fact that it has a front porch and a back porch, and they're pretty large. Now I will say here in the master bedroom, it is a typical size, but what I really like is the shower. I really like the way this shower looks. I like that they have bigger tiles. I really think smaller tiles make it look too small. With the way that the shower is set up, it definitely makes it look pretty big. They also come with the towel holders, which is really nice. Not all of them do that. And I like that this is not the swinging, but it actually slides. So you don't have to deal with it banging as if it's like the normal type of doors, like with a magnet. Now you see this porch. So if you're somebody who likes to sit outside or plans on moving to Florida to be outside, this definitely would be a great option for you. So the next part that I'm going to talk about specifically is going to be the pros and cons of living here in Citrus Springs. So let's talk about some of the pros and cons. Now that I have my coffee, I highly recommend Denellen Coffee. It's really awesome, cute, local feel. I really enjoy it, and to be honest, again, I think it's some of the best coffee in the area. So if you're here, you got to try it. Now let's talk about some of the pros and cons. So pro number one is going to be location. You're about an hour and a half to Tampa, about the same to the beaches, because a lot of the coast on this side of Florida is very rocky. So if you're wanting a true beach, you'll have to go down somewhere around Clearwater, Tampa. You will have to go to that area to find the beach, but it is pretty close to everything. They just built the Target and all of that stuff, Starbucks, Panera, and they're getting ready to build some other things there as well, including a Planet Fitness. You also are really close to the Suncoast Parkway, which they're building, and actually it's relatively easy to get to it from that location. So if you're needing to drive to Tampa, it is an easy commute to get there compared to even the Turnpike in Ocala where you would catch it and go. It is much nicer and better drive on the Suncoast Parkway as it sits than if you were in Ocala trying to drive to Orlando. 110%. Now, something I will add as well is you're really close to Crystal River. You're about 30 to 45 minutes to Crystal River. There's everything you want to do there, whether that be boating, ski doing, kayaking, canoeing, all of that stuff is there. There's also some really great springs like Three Sisters Springs where you can see manatees. You also are relatively close to Homosassa. Like I said, Crystal River. Both of those places have really great seafood restaurants. If you're in Homosassa, I recommend Crump's. They have a gluten-free menu and do have a gluten-free fryer. So if you're in the area visiting, I recommend going and checking Crump's out. It's a really cool location. Or if you're in Crystal River, check out the crab plant. I really love that place too. Another pro about living in this specific area is going to be the cost. Overall cost in Citrus Springs is really affordable. The average home price is about $284, while in Ocala, the average price is $294. So that does make a significant difference on your monthly payment. I also have found some really nice homes in Citrus Springs for $240, $260. In my opinion, you do get a lot more for your money in Citrus Springs in comparison to Marion Oaks, Silver Spring Shores, or anywhere in Ocala. Now, the last pro that I would say is home options. There's a lot of builders, so there's a lot of unique builders in this specific community that meet all your needs. It's just so much growth coming here. While that is a plus and a minus, it is really good if you're deciding to purchase a home because supply and demand, and also it just gives you a lot of options. So you always have a different builder to pick from. Some of them are big builders, some of them are small builders. It really just depends on what you're looking for and what you want out of your home. Now let's talk about some of those cons, and we'll kind of talk about the growth. Con number one is going to be that the fact that it is growing rapidly. So Citrus Springs will definitely not be a quiet, quaint area forever. I do think that the people moving there are much quieter. It's less city. It's much more suburban. It kind of has that West Coast feel to it. So I will say it is much different than Marion Oaks or Deltona. So don't compare what those feel like to Citrus Springs, but it is just as big. So it is 15,000 acres, about 34,000 home sites in total, and it already has 8,000 to 9,000 already built on. So again, it is going to be a large community. So do keep that in mind when you are purchasing here, that this community is pretty big and eventually it will be built out at some point. Probably going to take a good 10 to 20 years probably for that to happen, but it will eventually occur. I would say con number two is going to be the fact that it is deed restricted. A lot of people are moving to these communities and they are not aware of the fact that these communities are deed restricted. And as they get more popular, those deed restrictions tend to come more into play. I will say that they're really nothing too crazy. You can put whatever fence you want. You can have your sheds. You can do pretty much anything you want to. It just may limit you if you're looking to run a business out of your house. So it could limit what could be parked in your front yard. So if you have work trucks, they may be parked behind your fence. Also, it can affect how tall your buildings are. But overall, as it sits, they're not overtly strict. But I do know as growth happens, that does tend to change. A lot of people are finding that out in Marion Oaks, and we're never told that the community was deed restricted. But do keep in mind, this is a deed restricted community. So if you would like those bylaws, I can always get them for you. So that way you have an idea of what it is. But again, it's nothing crazy, but it does matter if you don't know about it. I would say con number three is going to actually be the layout of the community itself. Unfortunately, the Mackel brothers did not really design these communities with a lot of commercial space. And so there's really not much inside of the community to go to. You have to kind of go out to get whatever you need. Now, it's not very far. Denellen and Lecanto are relatively close, but there's nothing like quick to go and grab inside of the community. The closest
closest thing is going to be probably a Circle K. They have some Dollar Generals and Family Dollars, but outside of that, there just isn't much there. I hope you guys enjoyed some of these pros and cons. If you have any questions about them, feel free to ask me in the comments.
If you'd like more information about this house, Citrus Springs, or about Florida, feel free to contact me anytime. My phone number's on the screen. Thanks so much for watching.